You as a selfish, that's how I feel.
You're psychotic. How about that?
I'll take that. I'd rather be a psychotic than be a selfish.
Mama Jones just dropped a bombshell on Live, and it's got the entire internet shook. This ain't your typical reality show, T. This is real-life heartbreak, and it starts with one name, Chrissy Lampkin. But before y'all think this is just some love and hip-hop rerun, nah, baby. We're diving deep into a story full of secrets, sickness, and a mother-in-law who just couldn't keep quiet any longer.
I said, stop filming me.
I don't regret slapping the cameraman because the cameraman deserved what he got.
Okay.
Stop filming me.
That's what you get from me. You get what you get.
For a while now, fans have been asking, where's Chrissy? She hasn't been active on social media like she used to be, barely showing up at events, and even skipped a few big industry functions that she never would have missed before. People started to notice that something wasn't right. It started with things like Chrissy had clearly lost a lot of weight. Her face looked thinner, her body smaller, and folks started speculating all kinds of reasons. Then came the wig changes. Chrissy always rocked different styles, but recently the wigs were looser, more like cover-ups than style statements. That's when fans online started whispering about possible health issues. At first, people thought maybe she was just laying low, but turns out she was hiding something big. And we're not talking about drama, we're talking about real life. Because while the internet was talking about a breakup or a falling out with Jim, nobody saw this next part coming. But then came the live stream that changed everything. Because Mama Jones wasn't just venting, she was exposing. So Mama Jones goes on Instagram Live, and right off the bat, her tone was serious. She started talking about how she always felt something was off about Chrissy. According to Mama Jones, she came across medical records that made everything click. She claimed Chrissy has been secretly getting treatment. And not for something small. She hinted it was leukemia. That's when the whole internet paused. Now, Mama Jones didn't say Chrissy has leukemia, but she suggested it. She said she saw hospital documents, she said she found evidence of consistent treatments, and she made it sound like this had been going on for a while, right around the same time Chrissy disappeared from the public eye. She also said Chrissy didn't tell Jim, not once. Instead of coming clean, Mama Jones claims Chrissy just walked away from the relationship while Jim was sick himself. And she didn't just walk, she ghosted. No text, no talk, nothing. Just gone. What really caught people off guard was the emotion in Mama Jones' voice. She didn't sound angry. She sounded hurt. She said she had held this in because she didn't want to cause more tension between her and Chrissy. But now, with people constantly asking what happened, she felt like it was time to speak. Jones claimed, "I saw it with my own eyes, she was going through something. But she didn't want help, she didn't want to explain anything, she just left. And if Chrissy really is battling leukemia, that's a whole different situation. It would explain the weight loss, the wigs, the quiet disappearances, but it also raises bigger questions. How did Mama Jones find out before Jim? And why is she the one bringing this to the fans?"
To me, I think that she just runs from her problems that she and him having and the problems that she had with me. We have to somehow figure it out. Try to get it back together.
Now let's talk about Jim, because while Chrissy was battling something serious, Jim was going through his own kind of pain. Inside sources close to the family say Jim was devastated when he found out about Chrissy's condition through the grapevine. Imagine hearing that your longtime partner, the woman you've spent over 20 years building with, is sick and you had no idea. One source said Jim was seen sitting alone in his car for hours after he got the news, because to him, it wasn't just about the illness, it was the betrayal of not knowing. And it's not like Chrissy just disappeared and left a note. She was there, in the same house at times, but emotionally shut down. Insiders say she started sleeping in a separate room, barely speaking, and when Jim tried to get through to her, she just brushed it off. It's hard to imagine how confusing that must have been for Jim. One day everything's fine, the next, your fiance is avoiding your touch, barely making eye contact. And the worst part? She wouldn't even say why. For someone like Jim, this hit hard. Folks close to him say he started pulling away from friends, skipping out on music sessions, and isolating himself. And when Mama Jones started speaking out, it didn't make things better. If anything, it made Jim feel even more blindsided, because now the whole world knew something he didn't. Now this is where things get even darker, because what Chrissy did next had everyone asking, what is she hiding besides the diagnosis? So why would Chrissy go through something this big and not tell the man she's been with for 2 decades? Well, there are a few theories, and they all say a lot about the kind of pressure Chrissy might have been under. Theory 1, she didn't want to seem weak. Chrissy has always been a tough woman. Maybe in her mind, being sick meant showing vulnerability. And for someone who's had to fight her way through the music industry, reality TV, and her complicated relationship with Jim's family, being seen as fragile just wasn't an option. Theory 2, she was scared Jim would leave. Their relationship has had ups and downs, and let's be honest, Jim's loyalty has been questioned in the past. Maybe Chrissy felt like telling him she was sick would only give him a reason to start drifting, and instead of risking that heartbreak, she just shut down. Theory 3, she didn't want Mama Jones involved. Everyone knows Chrissy and Mama Jones don't exactly get along. And if Chrissy opened up about her illness, Mama Jones would have been right in the middle of it, giving her opinion, asking questions, maybe even trying to control how Chrissy handled her treatment. That's a level of drama Chrissy probably wasn't ready for. But here's the thing, even though these theories make sense, they also highlight just how isolated Chrissy must have felt. Whatever her reasons, she chose silence over support. And that decision didn't just hurt her, it tore her whole household apart.
I am so disgusted with her behavior, her lack of respect. Jimmy needs to step up and be involved and take stock in what's going on around him.
Now this is where things take a wild turn, because fans online aren't just speculating about illness anymore. They're asking a very serious question. Was Chrissy poisoned? Yup. It sounds crazy at first, but let's break down why this conspiracy is starting to catch fire. It all started when some fans noticed the timing of everything. Chrissy's health seemed to take a serious hit right around the time Jim's ex, Tahiri Josie, came back into the picture. Some say it started out with just a few social media likes, maybe a run-in at an event, but others claim Jim and Tahiri were getting a little too close. Now, Chrissy and Tahiri don't have a public beef, but let's be real, anytime an ex pops back up, especially one with history, there's gonna be tension, and Chrissy's sudden weight loss, change in appearance, and emotional withdrawal started shortly after that. Fans started putting the pieces together, saying, this ain't just stress or a private medical issue, what if something else is going on? Some online sleuths even pulled old clips where Tahiri joked about taking out the competition in a past interview. Not directly about Chrissy, but the timing makes it strange. Add that to Chrissy's quiet behavior and Jim acting bad with his money, and you've got yourself a full-blown conspiracy theory. The idea that someone may have intentionally made Chrissy sick is obviously hard to prove, but the whispers aren't going away. Now, this part didn't come from Chrissy or Jim directly, it came from Mama Jones. And y'all know Mama Jones doesn't bite her tongue. According to her, she started noticing strange transactions coming out of Jim's accounts. We're talking large sums, private payments, and no clear explanation about what it was for. When she started digging, she claimed she found out the money was allegedly being funneled to pay for private medical treatments. But it didn't stop there. Some reports say these weren't just normal doctor bills. There were claims that some of the money was being used to keep certain doctors quiet, hush money. And if that's true, the question becomes, what exactly were they trying to hide? Mama Jones hinted that Jim may have known more than he let on. Maybe not about the full illness, but enough to try to handle things privately without the media catching wind. The irony? The one trying to keep things under wraps is now dealing with a public explosion because his mama couldn't stay silent. Some fans are also wondering, was the money going to protect Chrissy, or was Jim protecting someone else? If Tahiri's name is even loosely connected to any of this, it opens the door for all kinds of assumption. Let's not forget, Mama Jones has always had her suspicions about the women in Jim's life, and now with money missing, medical issues being hidden, and Chrissy slowly fading from the spotlight, it's not a stretch to say something might be happening behind the scenes.
Jim was hurt that me and Chrissy didn't get along because he knew in the beginning we did get along. But you know what? Time heals itself.
So now all eyes are on Jim Jones, and honestly, he's stuck. He's torn between protecting Chrissy, the woman he's been with for years, and facing the truth, no matter how ugly it gets. Sources close to Jim say he's not doing well emotionally. He's been seen crying alone in his car, ducking the press, avoiding friends. He's trying to keep things together, but it's clear this isn't something he can fix with money or a hit record. Meanwhile, Mama Jones is still talking. She's saying the fans deserve to know the truth, that Chrissy's hiding too much and Jim's enabling it. And that's putting even more pressure on Jim to make a move, so now it's a chess game. If Jim defends Chrissy, he risks covering up something much bigger, but if he comes clean, he may be revealing things that not only hurt Chrissy, but damage his own name too. There's even talk that VH1 and other media outlets are sniffing around trying to get the full story. So whether Jim likes it or not, the spotlight is only getting hotter. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Do y'all think this is a tragic health scare or something much, much darker? Make sure you hit that subscribe button because part 2 gonna blow your mind. We ain't done yet.